Hi, sweetie. You know apartment 701 next door that's been up for rent the last few weeks? Well, it looks like we have new neighbors moving in. A moving van is parked outside, and the lift has been in use all morning with boxes and furniture. Looks like a young family with the cutest little toddler. We should go over tomorrow and welcome them to the building. Can you pick up a fruitcake on your way home? Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to the channel. So today we are back in San Myshuno with what I hope you will also agree is a very fun apartment renovation. So I wanted to play with the Basement Treasures kit more, and I decided it would be really cool to make an apartment where clearly the people are just moving in. They haven't unpacked anything, they've just like dragged all the furniture in and the boxes, and it's just a mess. And I have to say, I did have a lot of fun with this. So if you want to add this apartment to your game, especially for storytelling purposes, which I think would be so cool, you can absolutely do so. It is apartment 701 Zen View, which is in the Fashion District. And it's one of the two-story apartments. It's the one that was originally the Karaoke Legends apartment. And it is available for download from the gallery. You can find it through my EAID, which is Hygge Haven, which is HYGGEHAVEN, or also hashtag Hygge Haven. And it is called Just Moved In dash Floor 1 and Just Moved In dash Floor 2, because since it is a two-story apartment, you have to download and place the downstairs separately from the upstairs, just in case you have not done that with a two-story apartment building before. So anyway, this is a three-bedroom, 2.5 bath apartment, and I've never actually played in this apartment before, but having done this build and like played around with the layout, I really like this apartment, and I definitely am going to have to move some of my like played families in my private save game in here because this is actually a really, really nice apartment. And I haven't changed the floor plan too significantly. The downstairs is pretty much the same. The kitchen is in the same area, the living room is in the same area, but I've added in like this partition wall, and I've also put in a guest toilet in the kitchen here. And otherwise, the downstairs is pretty much the same layout. The upstairs, I did change the layout significantly, and as I said, it's technically a three-bedroom. One of the bedrooms I have set up as a office space instead of an actual bedroom because there weren't any windows, and I feel like a bedroom with no windows is quite tragic. But alternatively, you could do a lot of other ideas about how to use that space, which maybe I'll talk about more when we get to the upstairs area. But right now we are obviously doing the downstairs, and I love the dark and moody vibe I went for downstairs. Normally, my builds are very kind of bright and light and airy kind of colors, but this dark teal is this, I think this is one of the new like recolors they've added to some of the base game walls, and I love it. It is so beautiful, and it matches so nicely with this growing together tile, and the floor tile that I use here in the kitchen is actually from Jungle Adventure. And I love how it's kind of black, but it just has these subtle blue undertones that pick up the blue and the teal so, so nicely. So I was super happy with that. The one thing about the kitchen that I struggled with were the counters. I love the bottom counters that I've used here. They're this really pretty kind of a creamy white, but all of the upper cabinets are a much harsher white that does not match at all. So you'll have seen when I placed the pantry, I actually had it black originally because I hated how it wasn't like matching the whites. But in the end, I did swap it to white, and I have completely cluttered up the kitchen, and I've talked through like all of that. The outdoor retreat pack actually came in really clutch with having like lots of plastic bins with kitchen stuff crammed into it, which I feel is like really realistic, that obviously a lot of stuff will go into packing boxes, but you'll also just use like plastic storage tubs to put things in. So I loved how that looked. Now, the one thing about the kitchen is I have not left any open counter space for your Sims to prepare food. I do apologize for that. Everything else in the apartment, for the most part, and I'll mention any exceptions as we go, but for the most part, everything else I've tried to place and make it look like it's just kind of being randomly plonked down. But for the most part, it's all usable, with the exception that, as I said, I have not left a clear counter space in the kitchen, but honestly, I really liked how it looked, so I did it like that. But if you do move any Sims in, just clear off the counter space, either delete those items out, or move them to somewhere else, and then of course your Sims can cook. Also, I did, before I uploaded this to the gallery, move where I have placed the toddler high chair. If you keep the toddler high chair, I've moved it to the end of the table because for some reason, even though your Sims could route around it, they still said it was being blocked and they couldn't place it. But I also know a lot of people don't like the high chairs and don't use them, so feel free to delete that if that is your preference. But here we have the living room come together super, super fast. I loved all the plants placed in the corner with the windows. I think that is just so realistic. And the not the packs, the stacks of books from the Book Nook kit just worked so, so well. But here we have moved on to the upstairs. Now, I have put in the disassembled heart bed because I have not used that and I have wanted to use it. But of course, they haven't put the bed together, so they've got a blow-up mattress here that they are using to sleep on in the meantime. And a couple of things here to note. The blue suitcase your Sims can use and access. The red suitcase that I've placed here by the bed, some of the objects I've placed around it, they won't allow that object to be usable, but your Sims can use the wardrobe, they can use the blue suitcase, so there are other options for having your Sims get changed and so forth. Also, out on the balcony, you'll see later, I put a toddler slide. That is not accessible at all at the moment, just because of other objects around it. And off camera downstairs, I do put a guitar in that isn't meant to be accessible, and it's not. But your Sims can put it in the inventory if you do want to use it. But other than that, everything else is usable, with the exception of the telescope on the balcony, because the balcony on the apartment is technically classified as inside, which is very strange, but there's nothing I can do about that. But here we are in the toddler's room, and you'll see that I've only partially kind of decorated it. The parents are in the process of trying to get the toddler room done first and foremost. So they are redoing the walls, and they've got some, painting going on and some drop sheets here. But all of the toddler stuff is completely usable. The bed and the toy box and the big stuffed animal, and we put some toddler blocks in here. All of those things your toddlers can use without any problem. But I thought it was really cute and very realistic. As parents, you want to get the kids settled as soon as possible. They take priority. So the toddler room is the most kind of put together at the moment. And then this is the third bedroom that I've mentioned. This one does not have any windows. Now, I have set this up as like a home office or a study space. I was also toying with the idea because I think this would also make a really cute, like either playroom or like a playroom / upstairs TV lounge sort of area. So if you were to knock down the walls going out to like the upstairs landing area and just have that open, which I think would be quite nice. That could be another really nice way to use this space, and a little bit different as well, kind of in a concept. But we've got here the toddler dollhouse. You'll see that I have or will continue to plonk down some of the larger items that maybe aren't as immediate, that the family doesn't need right now, out on the balcony. But I did pull the dollhouse into this area here, and then, like I said, toddler slide and other big things, they've gone out to the balcony. But let me know if you were going to add this build to your game. I would love to know, what sort of family would you move in here? Let me know in the comments, what sort of family would you add to this apartment? Who would they be? What would they do? What would their interests be? What would they be passionate about? Would you get rid of things like the guitar or the telescope? What would you replace them with? I would love to know. Tag me on Twitter and show me any photos if you do download it and add it to your game. So we're just finishing off bits and bobs here. I've put in like the holiday decoration box up in the study area. You will need to move that if you want your Sims to rummage for any decorations and things like that. But I'm assuming that, they're going to put stuff away by that point, hopefully. And then here we have this upstairs landing area, which honestly is just kind of being used as like an overflow area. And you'll notice that I've put some rugs in, but they're all kind of like haphazard. That is the one thing that I feel like the basement treasures kit was really missing. We needed a rolled up rug. How great would that have been? It could have been like just lying on the floor or maybe propped up like vertically against a wall or something. I think lying on the floor would be the most flexible, but how great would it be to have a rolled up rug? But anyway, I digress. You'll also notice that there are no curtains or hung photos. We've got lots of paintings and things like that leaning up against the walls. But of course, this family has not been here long enough to have installed any window draperies, things like that. They haven't hung any photos. I've tried to really be mindful of like cabinets to try and like choose ones that don't have too much things put away in them already. And I wanted this bathroom to be more like the kid-friendly bathroom. And I don't think that the family would have prioritized putting these decals up. I think these would have been left by the previous tenants, and that's why they're there already. But it looks super cute, so I wanted to go with that. And you'll see that when we get into the master bathroom in a few minutes, I have actually gone for a different shape. It's long and narrow, so that was a bit fun to change things up, and we put some double sinks in there as well. I have not added any laundry into this apartment, so if you're not into laundry, then you don't have to worry about it. If, like me, you do like having laundry in your game, obviously you could potentially put laundry in this larger bathroom, but what I would recommend instead is put the stacked washer dryer in the pantry area downstairs in the kitchen. And I also noticed, annoyingly, when I was playtesting, that when my Sims went to clean up their kitchen dishes, they were using the sink in the guest toilet. So if you have the mod for them to wash dishes in the closest appropriate sink, that would be great, because unfortunately, despite the fact that there's a sink and a dishwasher in the kitchen, they're still going into the guest loo to wash the dishes. Sims, please fix that, because it's so annoying. Anyway, we're just finishing off the ensuite bathroom. You can see that both bathrooms are, quite cluttered with the items on the countertops. We have some floating shelves in this master bathroom here that have not, had anything on them yet because we're just unpacking still. But here we are finally out in the balcony space, and this is the last room of the build. We've got some toddler toys out here, like I said, the larger ones. We do get rid of the tent and this little spaceship, and I put in a couple of other ones. But for the most part, this is just kind of a extra space. But if you enjoyed this video, a like is always much appreciated. And if you're new, why not subscribe and click that bell to be notified? But that is pretty much everything for today. Just some final touches on the balcony. I had so much fun with this build, so I really hope you enjoy it. Like I said, if you add it to your game, tag me on Twitter. I would love to see screenshots. I will leave you all with today's screenshots and have a lovely day.